I think there's a big misconception that everything we find at the thrift store has to turn into this time-consuming DIY project, and that's simply not true. In this new series, I'm going to share with you my thrift shopping and styling tips inspired by some of our favorite stores with no DIY necessary. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. For today, we are going to start off with one of our favorite stores, Anthropologie. Starting off with some wall decor from Anthropologie, definitely one of the more expensive items that Anthropologie sells, but there are so many different options that I really feel it can appeal to almost anybody. However, another place that you can find really unique and interesting pieces are at the thrift store, and mirrors are one of those home decor expenses that can get really expensive when you shop retail. So thrifting mirrors is one of my favorite ways to decorate a space and save a ton of money in the process. For example, I found this mirror here for just $14.99. Something comparable at Anthropologie would be hundreds of dollars. This mirror just had a few minor imperfections that could just be easily fixed with some gold leaf rub and buff. Because I had the gold leaf already, this really only cost $14.99, and I think it is the perfect kind of starting off point to style any credenza, any dresser, any entryway table, but it was done so affordably because I shopped secondhand. Moving right along now into textiles, which is another area through Anthropologie that is quite expensive, but it's a little bit more justified for me because I know some of the materials that they're using are expensive materials to work with. But that's not to say that eventually you might also find those same sorts of materials at the thrift store. So not Anthropologie, but I did find this Our House pillow for just $3 at my local thrift shop. It is made from high quality materials, but it was so cost effective because I shopped secondhand. Another area that is worth checking, now I usually don't have a ton of luck in this area of the thrift store, but every now and then you can find a really high quality piece. So not again Anthropologie, but I did find this CB2 runner that is usually hundreds of dollars for just $18 at my local thrift shop. Now Anthropologie is really known for having these kind of abstract, unique pieces of home decor, so I thought this was super fitting. I loved its kind of high contrast look, and again, it just felt so soft, so quality, but so affordable because I shopped secondhand. Moving along now into lighting, again, another really expensive area of Anthropologie. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars in lighting. You just don't have to spend that because the thrift store has really great pieces that just might need a tweak or two. Thrifting for lighting generally goes like this for me. I'll find a lamp base that I love, but it either doesn't have a shade, or I don't like the shade, or the shade is damaged. Or I'll just find a really great shade, but I don't like the base. So it is kind of like finding the perfect marriage of a shade to a base. So I found a base that I really loved. This is the base of an Ashley furniture lamp that is almost $150. So I needed to find a shade for it though. The only shade that was the right scale was this one here, and unfortunately it was bent quite a bit. So to bring it back to life, I just grabbed my steamer and I just steamed out all of those creases. And I would say it wasn't a perfect solution, but it did work very well in kind of giving this lampshade another life. And just simply combined the two pieces together. So under $30 for this lamp. So looking in the lighting can really save a significant amount of money by shopping at your thrift stores. And eventually you'll be able to combine all the pieces together for a really beautiful and unique look. Moving along now into glassware, Anthropologie has some of the most beautiful glassware, but you can also find great glassware, unique pieces at the thrift store for so much more affordably. Based on what I found online on Etsy, the exact same one, this silver is like polished and everything, like it looks like brand new. is going for $95, which I only paid like $7 for this. Now, although I'm not a reseller, I always recommend kind of going into your thrifted purchases knowing exactly what you're bringing home, just to make sure you are really getting a quality piece. Another piece that I found was this huge glass vase, or so I thought it was a glass vase. So again, doing a little bit of research, it was a terrarium that was just missing the top piece, but I only paid a few dollars for it because it was a glassware item, and glassware items are just 49 cents per pound. So now with the money that I saved, I can afford to go to Trader Joe's and buy real fall florals for my entire space and still be well under the amount that it would cost for just one glass terrarium from Anthropologie. Another kind of terrarium item I found was this one here, originally from Hobby Lobby. I also do want to use this for Christmas, but I wanted to know from you guys, how would you style this for Christmas? Would you do the ornaments like we saw at the thrift store, or maybe like a nativity scene, or use it as a little mailbox for Santa letters? Leave me a comment down below on how you would use this piece. Moving along now into some seasonal decor. This is always kind of like my favorite area to look at, especially for fall and Christmas, because they just do the seasons in such a fun way. And you can get a lot of inspiration by actually going in the store and seeing everything in person. It makes a huge difference. One of the new pieces for fall that I really loved were these pumpkin salt and pepper shakers. But then I ended up finding these at the thrift store, and I thought they were close enough. The only thing it didn't come with was kind of a little tray for the salt and pepper to sit inside of. So I ended up finding this little framed mirror here at Kohl's that was just a few dollars because we had all the discounts and the Kohl's cash. Now, of course, it's not an identical dupe, but I think it looks like something that is Anthropologie inspired, but was so affordable because I shopped it secondhand. But if you're not having a ton of luck finding these kind of seasonal pieces at the thrift store, definitely try checking Dollar Tree, because a few of the pieces I feel are definitely reminiscent of something you might find from Anthropologie. One really easy example are these little pumpkin shaped taper candle holders, and Dollar Tree has these, so they're meant for tea lights. One thing I always like to check is to make sure that if you just flip it upside down and poke that hole out in the bottom, it's the exact size you need for a taper candle. So just remove the sticker, added some metallic gold spray paint, and it is nearly an identical dupe, but for $1.25. Now for the taper candles, they have so many really interesting options. They have painted candles. They also have these ones that just have these kind of like icons, as they're calling them, made of wax. They're very beautiful, but you honestly don't have to spend any money if you just have candles in the colors that you need, melt down some of the wax and apply it with a little detail brush. And what's really nice is if you mess up, you just can scrape some of the wax back until you get the look that you're going for. Now, this can be a somewhat, I guess, time-consuming project. So if you're short on time, one little hack, if you still want to infuse that festive touch, you could use rings, you could use earrings, just heat up that tip part there so it glides kind of easily into the wax. But a super affordable, quick way to infuse that festive touch in your space on a budget. So one kind of funny thing always seems to happen every time I go to Anthropologie, and it just happened a few days ago when I was there. There always is like at least one guy kind of shopping around there needing help. The sales associate's walking around showing him all these really beautiful but expensive things, and he just buys it. He just accepts the price and he buys it. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you can't ever buy a gift from Anthropologie, but what I am saying is if you want to give a really thoughtful gift, there are so many ways to do that that do not involve spending an insane amount of money. And even if you go on Anthropologie's website, they have almost these like gift sets just kind of wrapped in a bow, perfectly packaged. But we can do this for a whole lot less going the thrifted route. So from the thrift store, we'll grab a basket, and you just want to make sure that your basket is going to be big enough to put all of the pieces inside. Next up, we're going to need a cookbook, and we're not going to spend $30 or $40 from Anthropologie. We'll spend more like 50 cents from the Goodwill bins. Find a recipe in that book that you can kind of put a lot of the non-perishable items just really beautifully packaged, so that way you're giving them all of kind of the ingredients for that meal to be made. Also, then we'll need to grab some cooking accessories like the box shows here, but not from Anthropologie. We're not gonna spend $22, we're gonna spend like $2. These are brand new, never used, and definitely give a kind of Anthropologie look. A couple of variations to this would be, instead of a basket, you could do like a casserole dish for the meal, or if you didn't want to buy a book but you make like the best cookies or the best banana bread, give the recipe with the ingredients instead. I just added in this little thrifted napkin from Hobby Lobby. Another really common gift I think people give from Anthropologie are some of their candles, and their candles are beautiful. They smell so good. Now, I found this Volume Spa candle, which is the same company that I think Anthropologie uses for some of their candles, but it doesn't say that it is from Anthropologie. But it was brand new, of course, with tags, originally priced at $24. Also grabbed this really cute thrifted wood box, just had one little notch taken out of the top there, so we're just gonna shade that in. And whenever you're giving the gift of a candle, I like to give a couple little inexpensive add-ons, so matches, a candle snuffer, wick trimmers, all of those kind of little things. Just make it feel like a really full, thoughtful gift. And you can also just thrift or DIY some of the components that go with the gift. So for a match striker, for example, I've made so many of these you guys have seen in the past. It's really simple. Just grab a little section from the striker part and attach it to either the back or the bottom of whatever container you'd like to use. Of course, just add your matches. It's just, again, a really thoughtful way to display your gift. Again, this is just a really thoughtful, inexpensive, sustainable gift idea that looks like we spent a lot, but we totally didn't because we shopped secondhand. Let's just touch on a few Christmas things. So of course, decor and ornaments. This is a really great time at the thrift store to find beautiful things that are brand new. I found these Starburst ornaments, set of 3, was $5 originally, but then I got half off, so it was just $2.50, which is even better than like the dollar store, but they are such beautiful ornaments. They definitely look like something Anthropologie would sell above $20. A material that I plan on incorporating in my Christmas this year is crystal. Anthropologie has a ton of really beautiful crystal options, but they're very expensive. So the first thing that I found were these glass crystal icicles. I got a set of 20 for just a few dollars, and then I also found a set of 6 of these. I'm not sure what they are supposed to be used for, but I purchased them because to me they look like little crystal trees. I just strung some little fishing line through there. I think it's just going to make a really kind of beautiful and unique luxe addition to my Christmas tree this year, but it was done so affordably because I shopped it at the thrift store. And that really wraps it up for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments which find was your favorite. My hope with this series is to share with you guys that even if you're not a DIYer, you can still find really great things at the thrift store that really don't need a whole lot, that you can incorporate in your space in a budget-friendly but aesthetic way. I hope everybody has an amazing week, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye for now.